Alright, so here we are. I gotta remember how to play this game. This is gonna be so weird when I go back and play WoW later tonight. It's gonna feel so ridiculously slow. Ooh. Alright. Well, my ping's quite a bit lower now than it was earlier. Must be less people on the servers. Let's get there. Alright. Hey, what's up, Essa? How's it going? He just disappeared on me. Oof. Block isn't quite the same. It's hard to take on like 5 or 6 at once. The hardest part is really like is seeing the attacks. Like this, especially if there's other players. Like there's other players fighting in the exact same area as you. It's very difficult to see. It's tough to see everything. Like when you see this many people swinging and attacking, and this person's just annihilating stuff. Oh shit. Yeah, going down there fighting like 2 mobs at a time is just not work, especially when I'm using these swords because I have no skill rating with these. No special attacks or anything. I'm not in a team, it's just there's a lot of people here fighting. Mm-hmm. And the camera turns. The camera's really floaty. Like, the camera tries so. The reason they added lock on to the game is because if you don't use lock on, which I'm not using lock on, your camera doesn't really. It's almost like the game tries to auto assist with the camera, which is really annoying. It's hard to keep the enemy in front of you because your character's like kind of turning by itself, I think. Let me try this. No, it's actually just the way the attacks to you. I think it's just the way the camera's facing. It's a little. I don't know. I haven't quite figured it out yet. So. While the combat has a lot of really cool features, it's a little wishy-washy. It's not real precise. Like when you play like Terra, like it's action combat, but it's so precise. Aha. It's very difficult for me to take on like 4 or 5 at once because you just end up blocking too much. Yeah, the movement's clunky. It's just the camera. Like the camera keeps turning. Like you know what I mean? Like I can't seem to keep the camera like facing the right direction. Which is probably why they use the lock on. I just don't like lock on. I think lock on's like a crush that shouldn't be exist in any game. Like you shouldn't be locking onto a target. You know what I mean? That's just that to me. That's so anti-action combat. Locking onto a target just makes me feel like you're back to a tab target system. That's why I've always been very, very much against lock on. They have lock on in games like like Dark Souls and Elden Ring because and I think it's because I don't know, I guess maybe it's the way they do these combat systems because the camera keeps trying to turn. So lock on is 5. Let's just try lock on to see what it does. Obviously, if it's something I use a lot, I will put on a different keybind. Let's see if we can get like one mob or something. Ooh, what the heck's over there? What is this? Oof. Some sort of boss. Okay. I don't know if I want to be attacking that guy. He's coming after me. Oh yeah. Oh man, and I got hit by somebody else. He's totally coming after me. Pissed him off. Yeah, the movement's clunky. It's floaty. It's really floaty. Like when you're moving, the screen kind of it's chugging around. It's like not smooth. See, that guy's dual wielding. But he's doing a shit ton of damage. Oof. I slammed all of them backwards. Yeah, the game has potential, but they really need to clean up the combat. You know, the combat's really. Of course, the graphics are an entirely different matter too. The graphics are really like your character here doesn't look really anything like she does in the character screen. Like, look at how cool your character looks here, right? And then you go to the game and it's it doesn't look great. Anyways, I need to go. What is this scheduled server? June 27. Oh, did they just like? Did they just like close the server? Was that like a 1 second warning to say the server is going to go down? 1 second warning. Anyways, I'm gonna stop the stream here because I got to do some laundry really quick. I think I just want to jump in and do a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. The game felt really cool earlier today, but that was because it was the new, you know, like. Okay, well, they keep showing that message, but it just kills the client when I try to like do anything. So I'm not sure what that's all about. You know, put up a message that says when the server's maintenance is going to be, and then just crash the server if you do anything. It's like their message talking about stability here. Let's click it. Yeah. So we can't even play the game now because every time I try to click that message, it just closes the client. So is it now? Well, it's not a very smart way to do it. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, that's fine. I mean, hey, Blue, what's up? I mean, the game, like, after the newness wore off, the combat's really clunky. And it's really clunky. Like, it's really fun, and yet, but at the same time, there's a lot of problems with it. You know, it's like it's hard to keep it's hard to keep your target, like your character, like the movement of your character during their attacks feels a little bit awkward. It doesn't feel like you're moving straight forward. It feels like it moves at an angle. Like when I'm swinging, it always feels like I'm moving kind of like to 1 o'clock. You know, like I'm drifting to the right. And the camera controls, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. I'd have to play quite a bit more to really get to a point where I felt like I could figure out what was going on with the combat, but definitely needs a lot of work. And I think there's a lot of, you can just go out there and there's tons of reviews in this game where some people are just bashing the hell out of the game. I'm just using the bow right now. Some people are bashing the game hard. Like I put a video in the Discord server. Well, I don't. What says what? 19 PDT? Okay, that says 4 p.m. Friday, so that's not right. I'm just trying to look at the message. I say, what time is 1900 PDT to EST? And it says 4 p.m. Friday. Well, that's not true because this is not 4 p.m. So I don't know. I hate it when people use those things, but no, I did. It didn't say that on my screen, did it? Yeah, I don't know. I gotta do some laundry real quick. Well, I'll come back and stream my World of Warcraft character that on the hardcore server I was gonna play. But yeah, the combat, the melee combat's weird. Like I've always said that to me like the best action combat that I've played probably is for an MMO. Like the best action combat like overall that I like. I don't know. Vindictus is really good. I think Vindictus is probably my favorite like action combat because I love the grappling and the kind of grabbing and throwing mobs, and also Dragon's Dogma has really good combat too. But that's different than, hey, what's up, Faust? But that's different than action combat for like an MMO. I don't think action combat in certain games really translates super well for, yeah. I don't think that action combat for, some action combats work best for MMOs. I feel like this action combat feels, if it, like the camera kind of floats around, the game's a little bit clunky, like the movement's clunky. If there's a lot of mobs, like especially like when I was fighting like 3 or 4 mobs at a time, and there were other players, melee players in there fighting them with me, it was really hard to see the enemy attacks, like really tough. So, and that's something I talk about with World of Warcraft all the time. Like one of the real strengths of World of Warcraft is it's very easy to see the animations of the enemy. Like Blizzard did a really good job of making sure that animations are clearly discernible, and I think a lot of that has to do with like how how smooth the character controllers are, how smooth the movement in the world is. Like the movement in this game, like if you're just taking your character and you strafe left and right, your character's kind of, she's like an alcoholic who hasn't had her drink for like 8 hours. She's shaken. You know what I mean? She's like got the shakes. So it's not, and that kind of extra shake. Then you couple that with, other stuff, all the characters and things on the screen. It makes it difficult to kind of see. And since my character revolves around a lot, at least I would like my character to revolve a lot around blocking incoming attacks. It makes it difficult because I can't really see the incoming attacks very well. Like if it's just me fighting one mob, it's really easy. The combat's super simple, but once it gets to be like 3 or 4 or 5 enemies, it starts to become really difficult. But anyways, I'm gonna come back in a few minutes after I hang up a bunch of laundry, and I'm gonna stream my World of Warcraft character. So yeah, I don't see this as any kind of game that I'll play right now, for any kind of length of time. I think for me to get into an MMO, like the combat has to feel pretty good almost instantly. Like if I get in there and it's feeling bad after like an hour of playing it, then I know it's just not going to work. Because normally, like, combat doesn't usually, for me anyways, combat doesn't usually get better. There aren't too many MMOs where I get in there and I start playing the game and the combat feels bad, but then, like, 5 levels later, it feels better. It doesn't usually work that way. I know that some people said Throne of Liberty was like that because in the beginning you had so few abilities, so when you got more abilities, like, there are some MMOs where, like, WoW, I guess, it could be true to that. Like, a warrior at level 1 doesn't feel great because you don't really have a lot of abilities, and as you get more skills later on down the road, the warrior starts to feel better. But that's a little different because it's a tab target system. So that makes sense. But an action combat system has to feel fluid and smooth when you're just auto-attacking. When you're just moving around auto-attacking, it has to feel smooth. The attacks have to be it has to be easy to see the hitboxes. Like, where are my weapons landing on the enemy? Is there stagger animations? Is it easy to see when the enemy's swinging at me? Like, how, where is he going to hit me? Like, where is his attack going? Is it easy to see where it's going so that I can try to dodge it? Those things are really important when you have an action combat system. And I just feel like this combat system right now, it just doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel that precise. It feels really clunky. And but beyond all that, it's still really, I really enjoy it. I think it's really fun. So I'll try to play a little bit more, but it feels more fun like when it's like I said, one-on-one fights as opposed to one on like 4 or 5. Now, if you go down the path of like the dual sword, where you're swinging dual, then you start getting down to a type of combat systems that I don't really care for. One of the things I never really liked with around Black Desert or something like Lost Ark is I don't really like, or even like Diablo, I don't like combat. I don't like what I don't consider those action combat anymore. I consider those more what do you call them? The action. What are they called? Action RPGs, I guess. I don't like it when you just go into a big area of mobs and you just start spinning to win. Right? You just run around. You actually a bunch of skills, and your character's just spinning, swords all over the place, and mobs are just dying left and right. That does not impress me at all. In fact, I really dislike that type of combat. That's why I hate games like Diablo. I don't really enjoy those games at all. I think they're kind of stupid, to be honest. I enjoy more of like an Elden Ring style combat where you have to go in there and the enemy swings a big two-handed axe at a huge, powerful strike over his head. You have to try to figure out what am I going to do? Am I going to block it? Am I going to parry it? Am I going to move out of the way? You know, you can't just be like, well, I'm just going to spin to win because he's going to hit you and probably take half your health off. You know, you have to somehow counter that attack, whether it's to be blocking it, dodging it. You know, I like that combat a lot more. More strategic, more like skill based. Uh, and I think this combat system has that to some degree. You know, I did see the wyvern, yeah, and he started coming after me right before the server went down. He was sitting up on the hill to the right, and I went up there because some like NPC enemies were attacking him, and I went up there and I didn't even hit him, but he kind of scared off the NPC attackers, and then he started coming after me, shooting fireballs at me. I just ran away. I don't think I'm ready to take on this wyvern. Um, but the problem I have with the swords, when I saw other people, he killed you 3 times before I got out of the tutorial. Oh, okay. The problem I saw with the dual swords is it feels like the dual swords on the swordsman are turning more into that Diablo style of gameplay, where you're just spinning around and throwing your, spinning like a spinning, Ginsu chopping knives and mobs are just dying. Again, I don't like that combat style. I like a more precise, methodical, strategic, talent-based system. Where, that's why I liked about Terra, because Terra was more like you moved around and avoided enemies' attacks, and then you would go through and use certain, combinations, and like you'd use like combative strike followed up with blade draw because it would increase the attack speed of blade draw, and that would be like your big. And then you would set up your character. You would set up your talent system so that blade draw did more damage, and you just would kind of like build like certain rotations that did a lot of damage, and then you just would execute them in a way that you weren't getting hit by the enemy, and it just felt. It felt good, I guess. But anyways, I'll be back in like, I don't know, like 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And I don't know, you said the server's not going to be back up, right? That notification was kind of weird. Because it just came up and then I couldn't like do anything. Like it didn't like let me go to even like normally when you're doing maintenance, you at least go to the server screen and just say servers are down or something. So, but let's see. Temporary server maintenance. Yeah. When they don't even have like a post on here saying that they're doing maintenance that I could see. You know. Here it is. I don't even know what time this is. 17 this, you know. I put it into ChatGPT and said, "What time is this?" Okay, so it says 8:30 p.m. It's okay, so ChatGPT has it correct. So yeah, it looks like the server is going to be down until 10 p.m. Yeah, 10. Yeah, you got it, Blue. 10 p.m. Yeah, it's dumb that it closes the game. It should allow you to go to the character to like the server screen, just say offline, like the servers are offline, you know, like every other MMO, right? That's fine. People creating their weird characters. Like what I thought I was getting. Like what I thought I was getting, what I actually got. Oh yeah, let's look at the reviews real quick. Where are the reviews? No reviews here, but the person did have it on the. Get a stable 60 FPS with. Mm. Performance is terrible. This is why you get these people. I don't know. Unreal Games. Yeah, I agree, Blue. I don't like people that create those really ugly characters. Also, I don't think just saying Unreal 5 games, I don't think that's. People keep lumping that in Unreal Engine 5, and I don't think that's the case. I think people just haven't figured out how to optimize Unreal Engine 5 yet. You got to realize that Unreal Engine 3 and 4 were around for a long time. If you look at Terra, one of my all-time favorite games, it was built in Unreal Engine, right? It's Unreal Engine 3, I think. It's probably the best MMO ever made in Unreal Engine 3, and probably one of the best games ever made in Unreal Engine 3, in my opinion. So I don't think it has anything to do with the engine. I think people, since the engine Unreal Engine 5 is still fairly new, I just don't think people have really figured out how to properly optimize it. And I also think people use Unreal Engine 5 as a cash grab because it's really easy to create games that look good. But just making a game look good isn't what makes a game good, right? You still have to actually make the game run smoothly. So I think people are shortcutting the work. So I really don't think it's the game engine. I'm sure there's plenty of games out there that are in Unreal Engine 5 that run fantastic. The problem is the experience we have with Unreal Engine 5 games are typically MMOs, and no matter what game engine MMOs run in, when they're cash grabs, they typically run really poorly, right? They just do. Anyways, I'm going to take a break and I'll come back. Yeah, it's like, oh, it looks great. Fresh beat. Yeah, man, I'll come back, start streaming again in a little bit, guys. I'll see you then.